Welcome everyone to a new video on the Coordination channel. Today we're interviewing 4 experts in the 4 different domains of calisthenics. We have statics, we have dynamics, we have endurance, and we have street lifting. With this video we want to help you find your way in the calisthenics world because we know it might be very complex in the beginning. So take some notes, take some advice from the pros and crush it in your trainings. Enjoy the video.
Hi everyone, my name is Malin. I'm a 32-year-old calisthenics athlete from Sweden. I have a background in cheerleading, which I did for 8 years before I discovered dynamics and freestyle calisthenics, which I've now done for about 9 years. During these 9 years, I've become the heavyweight world champion 2 times, the Nordic champion 2 times, and the Swedish champion 7 times.
Hope you're doing great. My name is Viktor Kamenov and I've been training calisthenics for over 13 years. I've been specialized in the discipline of statics, which will be in fact the discipline that I'll be covering in this video. I have multiple championship titles when it's about competitions where statics are really important. I had a lot of seminars around the world, almost every country in Europe, Asia, America. I can say that it was pretty much fun the last half a decade to actually spread my knowledge and experience.
Yo guys, my name is Bruno, I'm 26 years old and I'm coming from Croatia. I've been training strength and endurance for more than 13 years, which is more than half of my life, and in those years I was able to achieve some results that I'm really proud of. I am Croatian champion in strength and endurance, and also last year I was titled as European champion from strength and endurance competition that was held down in Sweden called Beast of the Bars.
Hi everyone, my name is Pera, I'm from Spain, I'm 25 years old and I'm a street lifter athlete, which is very similar to weighted calisthenics. I started practicing calisthenics in 2013 and I started with street lifting in 2018. Before that I used to be a swimmer. I was a swimmer for 9 years before I started with calisthenics. I'm currently the world champion for the minus 87 kilograms category in street lifting. This past weekend I became the European champion this year.
Dynamics in the freestyle category is movements where you do flips, spins and twists with your body with a lot of power and momentum. Some examples of dynamic movements can be, for example, a swing 360, a front or a back flip, or a ganger. Dynamic moves require strength, but I would say mostly courage, timing, and body control. They can be really scary at first, but also so fun. And they need a lot of patience and consistency.
So what is statics? Statics is isometric hold in which your body is staying in one place freezed. You're not moving yourself, you're not doing push-ups, you're just staying in one position and the body is not moving. Isometric hold can be, for example, the planche, it can be the front lever, it can be also the handstand. The difference between those 3 skills is that in the handstand it requires more balance rather than strength, while in the first 2, planche and front lever, over there you need to be stronger in order to actually hold it. Key thing to keep in mind is that the longer the position is, the harder it is to actually hold it. So that's why a full planche is harder than a straddle planche, which is harder than a tuck planche and so on, and the same is actually for front lever. Keep in mind that all those horizontal positions are harder than the vertical positions. For example, planche requires more strength than a handstand just because you have that additional lean which makes the shoulder be more far away from the weight center, which actually makes the skill harder. That's really basic explanation about statics.
Strength and endurance type of workout in simplest term is doing a lot of moderate to high intensity work in shortest time possible. Here I excluded low intensity work because when we talk about low intensity workouts here we are referring more to aerobic endurance, which is like running a marathon, and when we speak about strength and endurance we should refer more to muscular endurance, which is more like how many reps of a certain exercise can you do in a set or in given time. And there is not really a solid line that divides those 2 types of workouts, but I would say that anything between 30 to 100% of your maximum reps will induce nice adaptations for muscular endurance. Let's say that you can do maybe 10 pull-ups in a set, that is your maximum. You should probably stick in your trainings anywhere between 3 to 10 reps in a set, and you should probably not only work out in 1 rep range, but you should change it over time. Like you don't want to spend all of your time in 3 reps, or you don't want to spend all of your time working out in 5 reps per set or in 10 reps per set, but you should change it from workouts to workouts simply to induce some new stimulus for your body to be able to progress over time.
So street lifting, or as I mentioned before, weighted calisthenics, is adding external weight to the calisthenics exercises, and what we do at competitions is we try to add as much weight as possible and try to perform 1 repetition in muscle ups, pull-ups, dips, and also squats with the maximum weight possible. We have 3 attempts in competitions, and you have 3 attempts per each movement or exercise to lift as much weight as possible.
So the initial reason why I started practicing calisthenics was because I saw it and it looked like so much fun. And then when I noticed that I sort of have a talent for it, I started to practice it more seriously, and a dream of becoming the best in the world was awakened. I just love how dynamic makes me feel, like I have full control of my body, and at the same time I'm experiencing the ultimate freedom in movement.
So why I'm training statics? I can tell you that I'm training statics just because it makes me feel alive. It helped me express myself, and I think it's really important for everybody to find its purpose, the thing that loves the most, and to actually express his personality. And I found that thing in statics, and not only in statics but in calisthenics in general. And additional thing, for example, I use it as a meditation when I'm going for training. Even if I have a lot of other things that are on my mind, I'm just starting my training, and then after that the life is way easier, especially if the training was hard. It's really important the training to be hard, because if the training is hard and you're going through those hard tasks, after that training you're gonna feel really invincible. You're gonna feel you can deal with anything after that. Especially recently, that's one of the most important things that trainings has as a function for me specifically. So yeah, go for it, find your purpose and express yourself. I think that's the most important thing a man should have.
The reason why I started training strength and endurance is because it was one of the first style of workout that I came upon and stumbled across, and it kind of stuck to me. I just like, how flexible it is. You can do it anywhere, you can do it anytime. Also, the feeling that it gives you during and after a workout, it gives you the amazing pump that is I look at it like a small window into the future, how your body should look like if you stuck to it. And it's also a really rewarding style of workout, because you can actually, if you are a beginner, progress from it on daily basis. I not really talk about visual progressing. You probably won't see yourself grow in a real time, but you will definitely see your performance growing in a real time, because you are working on endurance and on your strength at the same time. In a week, in 2 weeks, you will be able to progress from 0 or maybe 1 pull-ups to probably 3, and then to 5 to 10. It goes really quickly, and when you start kind of stagnating into your max reps, you can still work on your endurance, like trying to bring some set that you were able to do in 5 minutes to 4.5 minutes or to 4 minutes. So yeah, it's really fun way of working out. As I said, I'm training for 13 years and I'm still finding the ways to grow, which is amazing.
I practice extra lifting because for my body type and my strength, it fits me very well. I like the way that it's a very numerical sport. You can calculate more or less everything, and you have to play with numbers to prepare your trainings. And I like it when it's very, objective to see how you're progressing. If a couple months back you were doing 60 kilos and now you can do 65, means that there's progression. Maybe also it looks easier. It's a sport that you can control a lot of variables.
I don't think that dynamics requires a specific body type. However, there are some traits that will be more beneficial when learning dynamic moves. And starting off with the most obvious one, when you have a good natural body control, you will probably learn faster and easier the dynamic moves. And also, if you have more explosive muscle fibers, you will be able to do the flips or the spins faster and better before catching the bar, which is very beneficial. Last but not least, a good core and grip strength is key when learning dynamics, because the core strength will help you to keep the control of the swinging, and then of course a strong grip will help you every time you're about to catch the bar.
Well, I can tell you that statics are best for almost everybody. I mean, I don't want to say it's the best for this type of people and it's really not good for another. Yeah, for sure, I need to admit that there are some factors that can make your progress easier or harder. For example, if you're 190, for sure it will be a little bit harder, or maybe not that little, compared to a guy who is, let's say, 150, just because of the lever aspect. I mean, the longer you are, the more far away your shoulder will be from the weight center. You need to lean more, and that will make the hold harder and in general the progress. But that should not dismotivate you. That's the idea, and that's why in this community we're really open to everybody. We don't want to say, okay, it's best for you and it's not good for you and so on.
I think strength and endurance workout is for the people who want to have a nice body with the performance to back it up. Let's be real, I see a lot of people who have a big huge body, but they are not able to do some basic movements that I think every person should be able to do, at least on their minimal requirements, you know, like doing 3 to 5 pull-ups, 20 to 30 push-ups, a couple of dips. Also, you really don't need to fight for an air like you see your favorite athlete do when they train this style of training, because I can say from my own experience, as someone who is, you know, preparing for a world-class competition, that is what you need to do. But if you just want to be, you know, have a nice body, build some basic strength, your workouts can look a lot more like the one you see in the gym, you know, just doing a couple of reps of this, of that, have a nice rest in between, and you will achieve those results. So yeah, just have in mind that it can be a lot simpler than fighting for an air on every workout. And also one of the really good things about those type of workouts, they are really, because of their high volume, they are really energy demanding. So if you like to eat a lot, with this style of workouts you could really eat a lot and get away with it. Like I'm not saying you should eat a lot of junk food, but just know that you could if you want to.
People who are more prone to having more strength basically in daily life. Maybe when you go to a park with friends, there's going to be someone that's stronger than the rest, and these people may have it easier to gain more strength and to lift more weight. So I think that this is a profile that will perform the best in street lifting. Obviously, everyone can do street lifting and train for it, and maybe you are good in some exercises and not so much the others. I think that someone who already has a pretty, you know, like natural talent of being stronger. For example, from my experience, when I started with calisthenics, I was doing basically tension, static, roll lever, handstands, also repetitions, you know, lots of bodyweight muscle ups, dips, pull-ups, handstand push-ups. And I was very good at this, but I was very bad at freestyle. I was very bad at doing the, you know, all the 360s and everything. So that's why I stayed only with statics and repetitions. And then I realized that, you know, for me it suited very well to add weight to those repetitions. And from there I transitioned to the street lifting into the 1 repetition with a maximum weight format.
As a beginner, when starting with dynamics, I always recommend that you build a strong fundamental strength with exercises such as pull-ups, dips, push-ups, core and grip strength exercises, because they will give you the strength that you need in order to start learning dynamic moves. The second thing is to focus more on the form and technique over, for example, speed and height, because when learning a dynamic move, the more you focus on the form and technique, the easier it will be to progress by time. And the third thing would be to take small steps. So when learning dynamics, always start with easier variations, like just a swing from the bar or maybe a 180, to gain the control of the movement that will be created, which is very needed, before starting to work on more advanced skills like the swing 360, for example. The fourth thing is warm up and safety. I always recommend to warm up properly before a dynamics session to get your muscles and joints prepared for the load and the impact that they will be exposed to. And also always safety first. So always use some soft surface like a crash mat or something similar when learning new skills to prevent from injuries when falling down, because trust me, you will fall down a lot of times. And last but not least, be patient. Dynamics can be really awkward at first, and it might take a lot of time to learn new skills, but that's very normal. So never lose your patience.
The most important thing is start with the fundamentals. Statics itself is not a fundamental. I mean, you need to go first through the pull-ups, push-up, dips. I always say at least 25-30 push-ups, at least 15-16 pull-ups, dips, I can say 20 dips, something like this. There are no specific rules, but it's logical that if you hardly make even the 2 reps of pull-ups, you will not be able to make a tuck planche or any other progression. So work on that thing. That's the most important thing if you're a beginner. Then after that, the other thing that you should keep in mind is once you get that fundamental strength, after which you can start doing the tuck planche and other progressions, make sure that you're really following all the progressions in a sequence. Like you don't skip any progressions. You make sure that you really first learn the tuck planche, and then after that you go for the advanced tuck. Make sure that you're really going smooth through all the progressions. Like there are different ways. You can use only your body weight by shrinking the body, making it longer, or shorter by using different bands, for example the ones that I'm using from Gore Nation. So there are different ways, but you should really follow the logic way of really progressing and don't skip any progressions, because that will pay you in the long run. So yeah guys, that was for me. I wish you good luck and much success in the new year. All the best.
I really don't think beginners need to know a whole lot when they're first starting with this training style, because I can tell you from my own experience, when I was just a beginner 13 years ago, I was just a kid finishing elementary school. I didn't know anything about this style of training, and I also didn't bother to search it online. So I just started to, training from my own head. I was able to connect a couple of pull-ups, push-ups, dips in a circular routines of 5 rounds. I was, I think, able to do 3 pull-ups, 6 dips, 8 push-ups, something like that. And after a round of 5, I wasn't able to do anything anymore. So I just came back home, recovered, and tomorrow I could do it all again. So if I really need to, give you some advices, my first one will definitely be, don't be scared to go near failure or even meet the failure on every single of your workouts, because as a beginner you are so far from your genetic potential that you are physically not able to induce so much fatigue, so much volume in your system to not be able to recover from it in 24 to 72 hours. Advice number 2, don't be scared to train full body every day, because for the same reason as my first advice, you are able to train every single muscle of your body every day and be able to recover from it the next day. And third advice is, keep it as simple as possible as a beginner, because I know there is so much content, so much advices out there on social media, on Instagram, on YouTube, but trust me, those advices are best suited for intermediate and advanced athletes, because they really need to take that rest day, they really need to take those deload days, they really need to take those body splits sometimes, because at that stage they are already able to do so much volume, so much fatigue, that they really need to make some special plans to be able to recover from and to be able to progress at the same time. You as a beginner don't need to do any of that. So take advantage of that stage. Take advantage of you being able to crush it on every single workout, and the next day feel like nothing happened, and being able to do that again, and do it again and again and again until you are not able to do it anymore. Take advantage of that, because those beginner stage doesn't really last forever, so this is the stage where you can grow and where you can reduce so much fatigue and get away with it. So use that and grow from it. That's it for me.
So preparing, a good plan for lifting, as I mentioned before, requires a lot of planning and knowledge. So I think it's important that you start with a proper and good structure. Also, the technique in the exercises is very, very important. If you're starting with lifting or want to start, I encourage you to try to do the best technique you can and try to learn how to perform all the exercises safely, especially because when you're moving weights, it's very easy to get injured, especially the shoulders. I would say that, looking for good technique and looking for good progressions with the exercise, it's the most important thing when you are about to start with the lifting. And a very common thought is that you need to have like a very big base to start with the lifting, that if you have that solid base, it's very good, it's very positive. But also, if you're an early beginner, you can start with the lifting already, as long as you can lift maybe a couple kilos only, but it's good to start adding weight and start progressing with this. I think it's going to be faster than just spending many years getting a solid base and then starting with the lifting. If your goals are to progress in lifting, then you can start as early as possible with lifting, as long as it's safe and with proper progressions.